A very good morning, everyone. I welcome to another informative session with our most respected Swami Lakshmi Narayan ji. Thank you for joining us today for the webinar session on the topic Managing Stress During Uncertain Times. It's my honor to introduce Swami Lakshmi Narayan ji, our host and guest speaker from Vedanta Academy. Swami Lakshmi Narayan ji is a senior disciple of Swami Partha Sarthi ji. He organizes public lectures and seminars on various topics related to the philosophy of Vedanta. For the first 30-40 minutes, Swamiji will share his wisdom on the topic, and the next 20 minutes have been kept for the question and answer session with the audience. If you have any question during the presentation, please type them into the question and answer chat window at the bottom panel, and your question will be answered during the question and answer session by Swamiji. Your mic is on mute during the entire session. You will be allowed to talk during the question and answer session only. Now over to Swamiji.
Yeah, thank you, Taruna, and good morning, everyone. So today the topic that we have chosen is to discuss on managing stress during stressful time or uncertain times, basically. Now, my question to all of you is, another name for the world is uncertainty. Is there anything like certain time, like everything is certain? At any given point in time, everything is uncertain, isn't it? So the question is, when is something that is fixed? Nothing is fixed. Everything is in a constant flux of change. So is there a time which you can call as, comfortable time or certain time where there is no uncertainty? Everywhere, anytime, any given point in time, anywhere in the world, nothing is certain. So therefore we say the only thing that is certain is uncertainty. Everything is in a constant flux of change. So therefore we say in Vedanta, the law is to change or perish. The world is in a constant flux of change. So we need to learn, adapt, and go on, isn't it? So that is precisely why a human being requires education. See, like we have discussed in the past sessions, that we have this choice, the present choice and all that. So I'm not dwelling deep into those things now, since we have already touched upon the choices that we have and all that. Why do we need to get educated? We need to learn, adapt. In the case of animals, they don't have a choice of action, but they are protected by nature. Whereas in the case of a human being is given this ability to choose. So situations keep on changing, but we need to learn to quickly adapt to them. In fact, to succeed in life, we need to learn to adapt. You find out in any parts of the world, people go from India to US or Canada or to Europe, or within India, they go to different states. And only those who are able to adapt to that local language, culture, weather, they are able to succeed, isn't it? So, world means uncertain. Human being is also made up of different gunas, 3 gunas we say. So, things keep changing. How we learn and adapt, that is more important. But generally, most of us immediately get stressed out. When things go haywire, berserk, not as expected, we all come under heavy stress. So therefore, this session on managing stress during uncertain times, or you can just call it as managing stress, whether uncertain or something going as you expected, still it may not go as you expected later on. So we need to learn what is stress and how to deal with it. So first of all, what is stress? That's the question we have. Stress is our response at the body level to a real or imagined threat to our existence, identity, survival, desire, etc. Now, when I say stress is our response at the body level, what we need to understand is human being is a combination of body, mind, intellect, and the spiritual component. I'm not going to touch too much about that spiritual component today. Maybe in our later sessions, we'll touch upon it. So we are a combination of body, mind, intellect, and the spiritual component. So we are an integrated personality. So mind and intellect we can call as thoughts, because mind is nothing but indiscriminate thought flow. Intellect is nothing but discriminate thought flow. So both are thoughts. So we are a combination of body and thoughts. So what happens at the thought level affects the body, and what happens at the body level is either conducive or not conducive for the thought level. So we have to take them together and deal with this together. So the stress is nothing but our response at the body level to a real or an imagined threat. I'll explain why I put real or imagined. See, there is something that we see or hear or smell or taste or touch. Some information goes into our system. The moment the information goes in, it triggers a certain response, and the response comes back through the body only. The input goes through the body to the mind, and the response also comes back through the body. So the moment there is something that is going in, which is not as I expected, not as I expected means like I have decided world means it should go like this. People means they should live at least 70, 80 years, normal life, and then as old age comes, then they can fall into too many other diseases, and then maybe slowly they'll die. Now, so when I have this kind of fixed thinking and things go differently, like this corona now we see in the second wave, it is also affecting people at the middle age or young age and all that. So these kind of things, when it happens, it becomes a threat to me and my existence, my identity, my survival and fulfillment of my desire. So all these are happening at the inner level, at the mind level, but that triggers a certain response at the body level. Because the moment my mind is agitated by what I receive, the state of mind that is agitated is called stress. But it sends out certain chemicals to my body, adrenaline, cortisol, etc. So it prepares us to face the threat, either by fighting with the threat or getting ready to run, what they call as flight. In some situations, we also freeze. So fight, flight, freeze, these kind of responses happen at the body level. So what is happening is, something is happening at the outside, and the inside is reacting to it, the mind is reacting to it, and it is not as per the mind's expectation pattern. So it gets agitated, and the agitated mind releases stress chemicals. That is also for our survival only, adrenaline, cortisol, etc. And our body is responding once the chemicals come in with fear, anxiety, etc., depression, etc. So when it happens for temporary, it doesn't cause that much of a problem. Temporarily, it happens for a few days. It doesn't cause much of a problem. But if it happens for a long duration of time, it causes different kinds of problems. So we fall into different diseases, lifestyle diseases. So therefore, firstly, we need to understand what this stress is. And here I had put real or imagined. Even if the threat is not real, and if it is imagined, that's enough to trigger these responses. In fact, they say that the fear of coronavirus, COVID-19, kills more people than actual COVID-19. In fact, fear of many things kill people more than the actual thing. So, imagination also triggers the same response at the body level. Whether or not there is somebody having a gun pointing at you, factually threatening you, maybe your imagination. But still, the body secretes those chemicals. See, we need to understand that we all have essentially evolved from jungle. Our cells have essentially evolved from jungle. So when you are in jungle, either you will find food or you will become food. Isn't it? When you are living in jungle, it's not like how you are living now. You don't know where you will be able to sleep, whether there is some kind of a threat there, whether a snake will come or some other wild animals will come. So whether you will find food, what kind of food you will find, nothing is certain in jungle. So when you are living in jungle and when you stamp on something, your eyes are looking at something far away and your legs have stamped on something, and there is a signal that is coming through your legs to your brain, and it seems as if you're stamped on a snake. It may be snake, may not be snake. Now you don't have time to look down and ascertain whether it is actually snake and then take whatever necessary actions. You don't have time for all that. So the moment you feel as if it's a snake, immediately for survival purpose, what the nature has done is it secretes adrenaline so that you can get ready to run. This is what happens. So it is for our survival. But in the modern world, what has happened is we in our mind start perceiving so many things. Like, for example, now this COVID-19 situation has happened. Now, in between, they announced certain lockdowns and things seems to have settled down. Everything was going on fine. And suddenly you find the second wave coming. And while we are still fighting with this second wave, they are already started talking about the third wave. And some say the third wave may be more deadly. And they're talking about how effective these vaccines are towards this second wave. And you're not sure whether it will be effective with reference to the third wave. So all these kind of uncertainty starts creating certain imaginations in your mind. As if you're going to lose the job, or something is going to happen to you, or to somebody in the family, etc., etc. All these kind of things that's going on in your mind, which may not be actually happening in future, may not be happening, maybe imagine. But because of that, there is a certain stress chemical that is secreting in your body. And slowly, slowly, over a period of time, when the stress chemicals secrete and your body continues to be soaked in this, you get into all kinds of disease, even diseases like cancer. So therefore, we need to understand that stress is our response at the body level to a real or an imagined threat to our existence, identity, survival, desire, etc. Now, for example, I may have a desire, I might have had a desire, and I was going along fulfilling those desires, and some of the main desires I still need to fulfill. And suddenly this COVID threat has come. So now it's a threat to my desire. I'm not sure if I will fulfill that desire in this lifetime. So my mind is agitated. So all these kind of things agitate my mind. That mind which is in a state of agitation is called stress, and that leaves a certain chemical at the body level, and those are called stress chemicals, and it gives a certain response at the body. This is stress. So now my next question to you is this stress external or internal, within or without? Is it inside or outside? What is outside is the happenings in the world. But the stress is happening within me. So stress is within. The source of stress is within. It's my mind. If my mind is strong, it is able to take the input and react positively and not react negatively. If my mind is weak, the information comes in, it reacts negatively, I get into stress. So instead of understanding this, people keep complaining about the world as if world is the source of stress. Parents complain that the source of their stress is children. Children complain that the source of their stress is parents or teachers, the curriculum, and the subordinates complain that the source of their stress is their boss. And the higher ups complain that the source of their stress is their team down the lane. So, or we complain about the traffic, weather, something outside. Weather being same, traffic being same, children being same, two parents, mother and father, they react differently. Father is maybe more stressed, mother is not that stressed, or the other way around. Children are same. Boss is same. Each subordinate reacts differently. And traffic is same. Time is 24 hours for everyone, whether you're a prime minister or a beggar. It's 24 hours for everyone. So, situation being same, how I react, that is my stress, isn't it? Or calm mind. So it's within me. So the source is within me. In Tamil, Thiruvalluvar nicely says, Novai Nadi, Adu Mudal Nadi, Adu Tanikkum Vai Nadi, Vaipuchayal. You need to diagnose the source properly. In fact, the moment you diagnose correctly, 50 or 70% of the problem is solved out. So first thing we learn in today's class is we stop blaming the world. Does it mean that the situation is not bad outside? Yes, the situation is bad, but that doesn't mean you need to react this way. Why are you lending the power to the world to affect you? You're more powerful than the world. You have the capacity to deal with it. So the moment I understand that I have to still strengthen myself more to be able to deal with this situation. So then I will start doing, reflection. I'll go within me and I'll start thinking about myself, some introspection about myself, how I can adapt, what changes I need to bring in, maybe at the body level, maybe at the mind level, maybe at the intellect level, what I need to do. So the question I will ask is, what I need to do so that I can deal with this situation. The traffic is bad. What do I need to do? Why don't I leave a little early? See, today's session is the timing for today's session is 11:30 to 12:30. And you can come and sign in 5 minutes, 10 minutes before. But if you rush and come in, and suddenly at the time you find that there's something wrong with your internet or something or the other, and that agitates you, and then after 5-10 minutes you get delayed and you come in. Unnecessarily, you agitate your mind and you will not be able to see what is being discussed in this class here. So if you plan properly, you can come 10 minutes early, 5 minutes early. So it's in your hands how you do it. So we'll discuss all these things in detail later on. But first, I'm just trying to tell you that the source is within, not without. First thing we learn in Vedanta is the problem is me, the solution is me. The problem is not the world, and the solution is not in the world outside. The problem is within me, the solution is in my hands. Now you may ask me this question, if the solution is within me, then why am I listening to this class? Listening to this class alone is not going to solve your stress. After listening to this class, how you adapt and introspect and adapt and implement in your life, that is what is going to bring about the change. So remember this, the source of stress is within you. And you try to change the world, you can change the world to some extent maybe, but still you will continue to go through stress. So the real solution is rehabilitating your inner personality. So stress is our response at the body level to a real or imagined threat to our existence, identity, survival, desire, etc. And the source of stress is within me. So therefore, I need to fix the problem here. See, it's like when you go to watch a movie, on the screen, you see a small dark patch. So you're not able to see the movie properly because there's a small patch on the screen. So you take a duster to wipe that dark patch on the screen, but it's not going. Why it's not going? Because that dark patch is not there on the screen, though it's seen there. It is there on the lens of your projector. The dust is sitting there. So if you clean the lens, then on the screen you don't see the dark patch. It's exactly like that. The problem is here, and we are trying to fix the world outside. We think once we fight this corona, things will become fine. No. Once you change the boss, things will become fine. Once you change your clients, things will become fine. Once you change your partner, things will become fine. No. It's not necessary. So, therefore, we need to start reflecting, plunging into looking within, looking at our own life. And when we look at our life, we begin to see that we go through 3 transactions of life. The 3 transactions of life are called receipt, reaction, and response. 3 R transactions of life, you can say. The 3 R transactions of life are receipt, reaction, and response. This is what is happening to all of us from the time we wake up till the time we go to bed. We are like a small mini industry, manufacturing unit. In a manufacturing unit, let's say they are manufacturing steel products. So they get the raw material from the world outside. From the world, they get the raw material, isn't it? Then the raw material is processed in the factory, and the finished product is sent out to the world. So from the world, the raw material comes, it is processed in the factory, and then the finished product goes back to the world. Similarly, what is happening to us? The stimuli, taste, sight, smell, touch, sound, these 5 stimuli are received through tongue, eyes, nose, skin, ears, respectively, from the world outside. You see on the screen, you can see it from the picture there, from the diagram. So, you receive the stimuli, taste, sight, smell, touch, sound. Now I'm talking, so you're receiving the stimuli, sound. It is going through your ears, and then it goes to your mind. Only when it goes to your mind and your mind is in the present while receiving that stimuli, do you register that stimuli. If your mind is somewhere else, you won't register it. Your mind is somewhere else, you won't register it. If you're thinking about something else, some project that you have to finish, while I'm talking, you won't register what I'm talking. So the stimuli from the world in the form of color and form, sound, etc., goes into your mind. Your mind registers it. And your mind is full of likes and dislikes, thoughts and ideas, desires, emotions. This is your mind, my mind, everybody's mind. So the stimuli goes in and reacts with my mind. Reacts with my mind. And it now has to send back the response back to the world. So it has to send back the response back to the world through the intellect. Now, if the intellect is strong, then the intellect, whatever may be the reaction, independently thinks about it, discriminates, analyzes, reasons it out, and then sends out the response. If the intellect is weak, the mind is strong. What does the mind do? The mind overpowers the intellect, not allows the intellect to independently think and decide. It rather forces the mind, keeping the mind as a victim. It holds it at ransom. It says, send out response like I'm giving you. Instead of independently thinking whether it's good for me or not, intellect starts thinking how it can fulfill the mind's desires, how it should respond. So the intellect comes under the control of the mind, and then it sends out the response. Then it becomes impulsive response. When the intellect independently decides and sends out, it's called proactive response. When it sends out the response impulsively, overpowered by the mind, it's called impulsive response. And finally, the response is sent out through the 5 organs of actions we have. So, this is what is happening to all of us. Receipt of stimuli from the world outside, reaction within, and response back into the world. So constantly we are receiving, reacting, responding, receiving, reacting, responding. Now, in majority of our cases, the response is impulsive. Stress responses. Agitations trigger our response. Unstable mind is triggering our responses. It's not a stable, calm, composed mind. It's the agitated mind that is triggering our responses back to the world. So, this is how we are functioning. First, we need to understand this. The moment we understand this, then what do we need to do? Then we need to start working on our receipts, reaction, and response. That's all. We need to start working on our receipts, reaction, response. The real solution is working upon the reaction and response, which is the inner personality. So in the beginning, I said, we are a combination of body and thoughts. When the thoughts are disturbed, it has an impact on the body. It affects the body. And when something happens at the body, that has a conducive effect upon the mind. So we need to work at the level of the body. We need to work at the level of the mind. We need to work at the level of the intellect. We need to work at all these levels. So if we need to work upon at all these levels, we need to understand about ourselves a little more. So if you see in the next slide, you see this personality of a human being is given in this diagram. Our real self is covered by 5 sheets. The 5 sheets that cover our real personality. They are food sheath, vital air sheath, mental sheath, intellectual sheath, bliss sheath. food sheath is the physical body. This body is produced by the food digested by our parents, and it is sustained by the food I digest, and it is food for the other species. So therefore, this body is called food sheath. In Sanskrit, they call it as Annamaya Kosha. Then comes vital air sheath called Pranamaya Kosha. The pranas, the physiological functions in us. Then comes Manomaya Kosha, or the mental sheath, mind sheath. Then comes intellectual sheath, Vijnanamaya Kosha. Then comes Anandamaya Kosha, or bliss sheath. Now this bliss sheath, you can say, just to make you a little bit easy with that, I would try to use the word subconscious. And intellect, mind and all is conscious. And then the vital air and food sheath. Deep inside is our real self, who we essentially are. And our self, our personality, is a combination of all this and the spiritual component, which I'm calling as self. So now, when we saw that we need to take care of the receipt, reaction, response, and we are a combination of all these sheets, I need to work upon all of them in an integrated way to be able to manage stress properly. Straight away, people want to get into meditation and yoga. Straight away, they think only about meditation, yoga. They want to start from there. What I would say is, we need to start at the physical level. See, supposing you have a goal to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Every day you try your best to get up at 6. But you end up getting up at 7. And you tried for 1 month. Every time you set the alarm 6, but you get up only at 7. So you start the day with the feeling that you're a failure. So now you should understand that I am setting the alarm at 6 o'clock and getting up only at 7. So probably by nature today, my level today is that I need to set the alarm by 6:30 or 6:45. Maybe that's a little more practical for me. So I'll get up at 6:45. Then I'll start the day as a winner, successful person. I set the goal to get up at 6:45. I got up at 6:40. So to be practical, I would say, let's start from the body level. Ultimately, we need to go inside. Mind, intellect, all of that we will be discussing. But straight away, let's not get into that level. First, we need to start at the body level, food sheath level. And especially now, when you are already in stress, we need to discuss about handling stress, managing stress, understanding and managing stress, and then get into elimination if at all. So therefore, I would say start from the body, which is more practical. So first, let us concentrate on the food sheath. Like I said, food sheath means body. It's called food sheath because it is produced by the food digested by the parents. And it is sustained by the food that we consume. And it is food for the other species. So it's food sheath. So since it is sustained by the food we eat, what kind of food we eat matters. How much we eat, how often we eat, how we eat. Isn't it? What kind of food we eat, how much we eat, how often do we eat, and how do we eat. So they say, eat right. Eat right. Now, during this pandemic, now you're working from home, you're sitting at home. So you have this freedom of going into your kitchen every now and then and take whatever you have at home and eat. Is another problem you have. Earlier, at least you were in the office. So at a certain time, you will go out to have a coffee or something. But now here you are sitting at home. Every now and then you may go into the kitchen, pull out your, draw the things and then eat whatever you want. No. So bring in certain discipline there. So, in fact, this is just a tip. It's up to you. If you develop this habit of brushing your teeth after your meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, it will help you not to binge in between. Not to binge in between. So concentrate on what you eat, because what you eat is what you will be at the body level. Then sleep. Now, we need to take care of our sleep. When our mind is disturbed, if we have negative thoughts, negative emotions, obviously our sleep will go for a toss. Those things I'll discuss later. But first, at least, these certain things we can do with reference to sleep. What is that? Instead of so much bothering about setting alarm to wake up in the morning, you must develop the discipline of setting alarm to go to bed. Set alarm to go to bed by 9:30 or 10. And our body requires 7 to 8 hours of sleep, they say. So if you sleep by 9:30, 10, then you can wake up around 5:30, 6. In fact, your body will automatically wake up. And therefore, you need to develop this. Firstly, understand the importance of sleep, which rejuvenates your body. Because if you've not had enough sleep, that triggers certain chemicals, and then the outside factors will add more chemicals to your body, and your body will go for a toss. Your life will go for a toss. Therefore, focus on your sleep also. So eat right, sleep right. And before sleep time, for sure, not get into watching anything on your iPad or laptop or something. These pixels and all that, they tell you there's too much light going into your system. And it will your pineal gland here will secrete certain chemicals to keep you awake. This blue light. The blue light falls on this gland here. You will secrete a certain chemical which will keep you awake. It will unnecessarily make your nerves active there. So you will not be able to fall off to sleep. So therefore, I would say, if you are going to sleep at 9:30, you finish all your phone watching, your video watching, or anything you read in the iPad or anything by 7 or something, and finish off your dinner by 7. So that you have little time, if at all you want to read a book, or even in your iPad or something, you can change the mode, reading mode, and then that's okay. But you need to understand that I cannot allow to unnecessarily trigger my nerves before going to sleep. So eat right, sleep right. This may look silly for you. You're talking about stress and this fellow is talking about food and all that. But believe me, you start from these things. And then exercise, move more. Eat right, sleep right, and move more. You need to move more. Move more means at least 45 minutes to 1 hour every day you must exercise. Some form of exercise. Move your body. Walking, jogging, yoga, whatever it may be. So some form of exercise. Why this exercise? First thing is, like I said, If there is some stress chemicals already in your body, when you exercise, you help to throw out those chemicals. And when you exercise, the happy chemicals secrete in you. So, double benefit. One is the negative chemicals are thrown out from the body, and the positive chemicals are secreted in the body. So, you feel good when you come back from a good walk. So, eat right, sleep right, move more. And then sense control. Sense control, not only the food, even your eyes, if you too much indulge, your nose, if you too much indulge, you're hearing too much information, constantly you're going on hearing, everything has its effect. So you should follow a regulated lifestyle. They say everything should be in moderation, including moderation. Even the talk should be in moderation. That's why we said talk for about 30 minutes to 40 minutes, and then we stop so that you can ask questions. If it's too much, it's a problem. If it's too little, it's a problem. So everything should be in moderation, including moderation. So your lifestyle should be neither indulgence nor denial, follow the middle path. So this session, managing stress, this is only the beginning session that we are having today. Next week, I'll go a little deeper into the vital air sheath, the mind sheath and intellect sheath and all that. But first, let's start with food sheath. I'll work upon this for 1 week. Should not be a difficult task, isn't it? Eat right. What you eat. How much you eat. How often do you eat? How do you eat? You eat with awareness, mindfully, or do you simply chew it off? So take care of that. The quality of food. See what it does to your body after it is consumed. Does it keep you energetic or over energetic or sluggish? Learn from that. Then also take care of your sleep. Then exercise for next 1 week, 45 minutes to 1 hour, some form of exercise. Like I said, the negative chemicals will be thrown out, positive chemicals will come. And generally make sure in every input, regulation is maintained. Even speaking, don't speak too much, don't speak too little. Everything you follow this regulation as a mantra. Here we stop for the day. Next week we'll continue this session and we go a little deeper. Now if you have any questions, you can ask.
Thank you, Swamiji. We now open for the house for question and answer session. If you have any question, please talk. Sachin, do you have any questions? Sir, there is a question. Do stones help in reducing stress in our lives?
Pardon?
From Sarat Mohanty.
What does it mean by do stones help in reducing stress? Is he talking about the stones that is being worn in the ring and all that? I think he's talking about that. Different colored stones they wear. It helps to reduce stress of the fellow who's selling it.
Okay.
Why don't you trust in yourself rather than stones? The chains that we wear, the stone that you wear, we need to understand all these things when we are down, no? Then all these things we start believing. The superstitions and all that. In fact, I believe once a scientist was asked, I don't know which scientist, maybe Einstein or Edison or somebody was asked, do you believe in superstitions? He said, no, I don't, but I'm told it works. The problem is when we are down, now COVID time is there. And then along with that, let's say there is some kind of a problem that's going on with your client. Some few other things are going on in your life. Let's say the relationship between you and your wife is also not so good. And between you and your client is not so great. And this COVID has come and maybe you went through COVID and you are feeling little low. And now this time, if supposing I'm the fellow who comes and says, this is happening, that is happening, you put this, wear this stone, now you'll be fine. And we start believing in all these things. No stone will help you unless you are ready to change your inside.
Sarji, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Who is this?
This is Mukund Kulkarni.
No, 1 minute. Before that, somebody asked this question. I've answered that question. So,
sorry about that. Then.
No, it's okay. We'll take your question next. But so, I think it was Sarat Mohanty who asked this question, right? Do stones help in reducing stress in our lives? No. The answer is no. It helps reducing the stress of the merchant who is selling it, not yours. Yes, you can ask now.
Sarji, the question is how one should identify the stress.
One should identify stress?
Yes.
At the body level, see, when your mind is disturbed, agitated, it comes out at the body level. You go into too much of eating, or too much of sleeping, or too little sleeping, too little eating, or too much of a shopping spree. Some unusual, extra unusual things happening in your life. Disturbance, disturb. From this you can find out. Not able to sleep at all.
So I have...
or you're reacting, your blood pressure is going up. You need to find out. Yes.
So what I was trying to understand is, see, within you, too many factors are there where you can identify. But within outside also, you are dependent on, too many things. I'm not talking about, the stress outside within me, but I am talking about how one should identify that the stress is within me or outside me.
I'm telling you, stress is within you. It is not outside of you. What is happening outside is equal to you and me. But whether I go through stress or not, it's within me. It's in my hands. The source of stress is inside me. It is my mind. If my mind is weak, I will be stressed. If my mind is strong, I won't be stressed. Mind means the inner personality. So if I'm stressed, let me finish. If I am stressed, that comes out in my body. How does it come out in my body? Either I'm sleeping too much, or I'm not at all sleeping, or I'm eating too much, or I'm not at all eating, or I'm, going on a shopping spree, not able to resist my shopping spree. All these kind of binge watching, not taking care of my body, no exercise, all the time sitting, lazing, all these kind of different things I have. blood pressure, breathing issues. All these things are signs of stress. It is not outside, it is within you.
Okay. Thank you for that. But I'm again asking you the simple question actually. So when we are working on the corporate stuff, where there are too many people who are dependent on delivering something.
Hmm.
Let's say for that example, I am asking you and I am believing in you and I am dependent on you. That you have to deliver this lecture by 12:30 for that example. And it is not going to happen. Then
I don't know why it's not going to happen.
I'm just asking a question. Don't take it otherwise. I'm just saying.
No, if it's not good, listen, I had committed to Taruna that today 11:30 we will have the session, and I had prepared. I have already had my slides and everything ready. Now maybe my internet connection probably went for a toss today. Maybe there is no power supply here today. I'm sitting in Chennai while I'm giving this lecture to you now. So they have announced lockdown here. Supposing, let's say, there's something goes wrong in the grid here and power supply is not there, and my my inverter also goes for a toss, I cannot have the session. I'll just call up Taruna and say, sorry, Taruna, it happened because things were not under my control. In those areas, it didn't happen. So that's it. So why should I get stressed for that? If I say, oh, I committed to Taruna, this happened, that, then I'm getting stressed because my inside is not clear. If my inside is settled, I'll handle it. I won't get stressed. So I will reschedule the whole thing. I'll tell Taruna, we'll keep it some other day. Can happen. It should not happen because of my negligence. Isn't it? It should not happen because of my negligence. No. That is wrong.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. This is what we mean by uncertain. No, nothing is certain. From within me, there is a commitment to NPS that we will continue. But something happens. Let's say something happened to my body today. I didn't feel well. I have to call off this talk. I won't say, I'll still give. It depends. If I'm feeling energetic, fine. Otherwise, we'll have to reschedule it. What is wrong in that? So the moment my inside is strong, I will be able to handle it. It's nothing to do with stone, nothing to do with time. All this unnecessarily goes in your head. All in your head. And you're weak, you get manipulated. You don't believe in all these stones and everything when things are going fine. You start believing in all these stones and everything when you start having the, negative patch.
So when you got born, actually, you don't have these thoughts outside, inside, anything, correct? And when you think about your friends or you start thinking about outside and inside, what is that which is lying inside?
Sir, very simple. When you're born, your physical body is born with your brain not fully developed. First 5 years, the physical brain slowly starts developing. Then slowly the emotions, mind starts developing. Then slowly the intellect starts developing. And as your emotions and mind, intellect starts developing, you start conditioning yourself in a certain way, right? And if you have not developed your intellect, you will go through stress and strain in life. But if you start developing your intellect, you will be able to manage and then finally eliminate stress. It's as simple as that. So when you are growing up in life, slowly, your conditioning starts at the mind and intellect level. If you put in efforts to strengthen your intellect, then you will be able to handle it. If not, you will succumb to stress. It's as simple as that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let the other guys ask you the questions.
Yeah. What's the question?
Guruji, one question. Getting worried these uncertain times, it's very natural as a human being. Now, I want to ask how to check if this worry does not gets converted into stress.
It
For
will.
example, I am yeah.
Worry will get into stress. Worry is stress, and it will create certain problems in your body. So I have given you homework for next 1 week. Do that properly. Then I will come to pranic level and mind level and intellect level in the next session. Okay. Now, who's this? What's your good name?
Akansha Tripathi.
Akansha. What I'm saying is for next 1 week, focus on what you eat, how much you eat, how often do you eat, how do you eat, and then sleep, then the exercise, then regulation. These 4 things you focus. Of course, worry, your question is, will worry give me stress? Will it have these kind of effects in my body? It is already happening. It will. Worry will give you stress. And by worrying, nothing will get sorted out. If you relax, you'll be able to sort things. By worrying, nothing is going to become better. If things are going to become better by worrying, continue. Things are not going to become better by worrying, right? By complaining, things are not going to become better. So what's your question?
Guruji, I want to say that by this we conclude that worry is same as stress.
Yes.
So worrying,
Worry, anxiety, all are stress. Worry is with reference to the past. Anxiety is with reference to the future. Concern is okay. I have a concern, right? I'm running this organization or running this particular team. There's a certain thing we need to deliver to the clients on a certain date. So we plan, we take the team's positives and negatives and strengths and weaknesses into consideration. Then we coordinatedly plan and function. Okay. And I'm concerned, so I plan and then execute my action. So concern is fine, but worry is a problem. Worry and anxiety is nothing but stress. It's mind's reaction. Concern is intellect's response. Worry is mind's reaction.
So, Guruji, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and helpful techniques to manage stress during uncertain time. Today's session has taught us how to cope up with the stress and help others to come out from difficult situation. Swamiji, once again, thank you for today's session. We are looking forward for another motivating sessions in coming days. Dear MPS employee, thank you for your active participation. We are confident that today's session will help you to manage stress effectively in your personal and professional life. We'll be sharing the details for the next session in coming days. Have a good day. Stay safe. Thank you.